Hahistapkut, contentment. We went on about this yesterday. ועיקר ההסתפקות הוא שלא תהא הנפש תלויה בתענוגות העולם. But this translation, sometimes it just says his own thing over here. The main part of contentment is when a soul is not dependent on any of the pleasures of this world. From the second paragraph on page 318.
Okay, sorry.
So that means that it doesn't mean you can't have or can't enjoy from the pleasures, but not to be dependent on those pleasures. There's a very big difference. It's not that one has to ignore any goodness in the world, but when one is dependent, like we mentioned with an iPhone, there are people, I've even been in that situation. Chaz v'shalom, your phone breaks. So what big deal? You don't have a phone for a week. What's the problem?
Oh no, that's a...
No, you can't. How do you not? How do you get out of touch with the world for a week? So we've now become dependent on something. The problem is not the phone. I don't hate on. I'm not from the rabbi to hate on phones. The problem is when there's too many things like that in our life that if they were to break, we would be besides ourselves. Too many things. It's normal. In any generation, there was something someone was dependent on. It was your sundial, or was your mortar, pistol, whatever it was. You know. But it's when there's too many things that you cannot live without.
Imagine 3-day Yom Tovs with Shabbat iPhone.
Right.
It's coming up soon.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
3 of them.
It's gonna be awesome.
No data,
Should I
no...
tell you the truth?
I don't care about that.
When I used to visit from Israel, so the second day I had to pretend to keep, right? But in my own privacy in my bedroom,
You have to?
That's
I
right.
was talking to Israel, calling her parents, you know.
But you in your house,
Yeah, you can't do it in public. Halachot. Don't excommunicate me now on this one.
This Israelis have been here
What
20
the
years
heck?
and we're still doing
Edit it
that.
You can't do anything in public. So
Edit it out, maybe.
Rabbi Yonatan, big trouble because there's many Israelis here who've been here for many, many years.
they still pretend they live in Israel. They haven't seen Israel since they left. But they keep one-day holidays. They do in Israel. We didn't do so, the whole thing is but you're not in Israel. You're in San Diego. You've been here for a long time. Okay, that's the way it works. You know, today you can't say a person like making the stack down half that way. I don't know why, but it just perfect. Angel, incredible. Thank you.
I went to Israel, I couldn't find a place to keep 2 days.
And
I
there-
wasn't looking too hard, quite frankly.
Now, this interesting thing. In the days where the toilet was being invented, you might laugh at a person who was so finicky that they needed a toilet, a bathroom, you know, with plumbing. But today, you wouldn't make fun of a person anymore because that's become part of what people need. If people were going to the bathroom in their backyard, you might actually never visit this person's house again. You know, if they were using a bucket in the corner of their room.
Outhouse. Nothing wrong with an outhouse.
Okay, maybe an outhouse. I'm talking about
Just going outside.
go out to the bushes, you know?
Used to have
in the
one in
bushes,
Colorado.
Imagine you ask somebody, where's the bathroom?
Out the back.
You know,
The front yard.
Backyard.
that's not considered a luxury. That's considered a necessity. But when too many things leave luxury zone and become necessity zone, that's when you start realizing I might have a problem with contentment. ולא תשאף לדבר שאיננו בגדר ההכרח. And the soul should not anticipate anything which is in the category of unnecessary.
But it's
That's very objective
relative.
and
Of course, in
relative.
that era, he was,
Subjective.
was 1,000 years ago.
Correct. So you can imagine what he's talking about.
like refrigerators and stoves. And
That those things didn't
There's
exist.
so many things that are necessities.
I mean, you don't necessarily need a lot of stuff to.
And just like,
These
hey
are
guys,
private
I'm
jets.
working on my contentment with little. It's true, by the way. I lived for a whole
Running
year.
water.
Don't tell my parents. I lived for a whole year in a place that didn't have any refrigeration.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Food, you mean?
for food. So I had 318. I had to plan very carefully.
Yes.
You know, I realized very quickly that when you go to the store and you buy something, it's not meant for people without refrigerators. They don't sell you quantities which you could consume in one day.
No.
Even you buy bread, it's like, I don't have bread to last you a week. I don't need that much bread. I'm going to throw this away if I buy. But you don't have a choice. Because they don't sell 5 slices of bread on this own. They sell a whole package of bread. If you're shopping in some places, they sell you like a 3-pack of bread. What am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah, like a piece of
No,
olive
so
oil,
that- very good.
A little cup of olives.
So I don't live in, but I didn't live near the shuk. So it was an interesting lifestyle. You learn how to do something like this too. how long you can buy something and let it sit out before it goes bad. You start to calculate pickles,
How hot it gets.
water, juice, bread, how warm your room was, which month of the year it
How
is.
high you need to put on the shelf.
I did that for a year. And then I said, Angel, no, I will not move into a van. It's not going to happen.
Come on.
And then I moved to a refrigerator, and then
That's why
but don't think it
shovel
ends
bias is so
there.
important.
You have a little refrigerator in a dorm room. It can only fit a certain amount of things. Your freezer, you ever seen those freezers? They're like enough for
tiny.
So even when you go to the store, you can't buy 18 eggs. What are you going to do with 18 eggs? Where are you going to put them?
Nice things.
I moved to an apartment after that didn't have an oven. It had a stove, but not an oven.
Oh.
But you learn how to make food that doesn't require any oven. Now you also don't want to fry everything. Yeah, because you don't. You want to live past 20. So there's all kinds of things that go into that as well, and you start to plan your life a little differently. Then you move to San Diego, and over there is Costco wholesale. You could buy enough bread in 1 minute to last you until the next Great Depression. And how much money do you spend on it? $3.25. But there's this need for.
Must be Wonder Bread.
Since when did you ever? I'll ask you this
Just
question.
leave
Keep
them
that
for
for
a
5
year.
years.
Yeah.
Who needs a 6-pack of deodorant?
And that's for over a
Or a
year.
2-liter bottle of shampoo? You ever thought about these things?
I don't buy it.
It's unbelievable.
Well, if you have a large family like 10 kids,
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
I think when I got, okay, I should tell you. Okay. Basically, Q-tips, 3 packs of 1,000. Now listen, you shower every day. I'm not against hygiene, but how many years is it going to take you to go through that package? We live in completely not normal measurements of what we need of consumption. Very good.
People store them so they don't have to go back to the store so often.
Maybe some people, maybe some things. Food, I can in a person's house, how much food goes to waste.
but in his era, if you went, what you didn't use, you threw out the window off the cliff and it went back to the earth. Now, everything we throw
Doesn't go anywhere.
doesn't go anywhere
Landfill.
into the oceans. Plastic.
Plastic. Right. These, so you can imagine what Rabbi Avraham was talking about. Today, you think about what's not necessary, and from the things that I buy for my house to eat, and I'm just talking about the food department. What could I live without?
A lot of things, but not food.
I'm gonna tell you, milk and eggs and flour. Okay, I'm gonna leave these things for you, and vegetables and fruits, and now add on here all the
Chicken.
condiments and the
Oh, yeah.
sauces and the candies and the cookies and the cakes and the chips and the pretzels and the
The
Chocolate
pies
chip
and
cookies.
chocolate chip cookies and
No,
whatever.
ice
That's
cream.
innocent.
No, so imagine that you
We don't
come
have
home.
any of that in our house.
Imagine,
that.
imagine if you come home with one thing that you don't need to eat. Sometimes you walk by a person in the grocery store, and they've got a bottle of milk. There's nothing else in that grocery cart that they need. And if you would tell them, "Do you want to put all those Doritos back on the shelf?" Doritos? How can I have Doritos for breakfast? How can I wake up and not eat Doritos? Yeah. So this person has reached a place where they now need something that they would have never needed.
If they don't like to cook, so they eat Doritos.
I don't think I've ever had Doritos for breakfast.
I never had them.
Not burritos.
I was giving an
Doritos.
example.
With beer.
Yeah, no.
But people buy things because it's very, very handy. It's all prepackaged, it's all pre-made. You don't have to
It's
make
also
it, open it.
addictive.
Yeah. So
They actually add stuff to it to make it.
yes.
So
Salt, fat,
הסתפקות
sugar.
במועט, being content with what you need. וההתקשרות המביאה לידי הסתפקות היא התקשרות הנפש והרגלתה להצטמצם בדברים שבהכרח ולהתרחק מן המותרות. He said to instill contentment, you must train and accustom yourself to suffice with essentials and avoid luxuries. He's not asking you to become an abstinent Yishin right now, right? He's asking you just to be content with little, not with nothing, with little.
I buy an extra package of mushrooms, my wife would make me return it back to the shelf. We don't need that.
ולמעט
Iron hand.
בתקוות השווא. And to restrain, listen to this word, pointless hopes. ולהשעות את הלב מהן. And to direct the mind away from them, literally the heart. והלאה על ידי שלמויות מועילות. by pursuing productive spiritual development. It's a known fact that when people are depressed, they eat a lot. Some people, maybe some people starve themselves. Right. Those are both extreme actions that relate directly, the reactions to a spiritual condition, an emotional condition. There's somebody that I know that told me that they can eat in one day a few gallons of ice cream.
Ooh.
Really?
That's really
You know,
bad.
in a tub of ice cream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's eating
Ooh.
I'm gonna
a
have a
few
little bit of ice cream once a
tubs
month.
of it.
If that.
And
Chocolate.
how many? At least 3. 3 gallons
In
of
one
ice
day?
cream is?
Really?
Depends on the eating disorder.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not, when you speak to them, you realize very quickly it's not just an eating disorder. They're burying their, whatever they're struggling with in food. And not even in real food, but in
Junk food.
At a certain point, a person gets sick from eating things that are. You eat all those candies, you're gonna get sick to your stomach. And it's the truth. How much can a person? But he says you can't just tell your heart, I need to go on a diet. This is a nice American dream. And it's not just living a healthy lifestyle. I'm not even saying that. It's also directing your free time towards things that don't involve eating, towards positive, productive development of yourself. A person who's walking, who's jogging, who's studying, who's researching, who's visiting a museum, who's listening to music, they're occupying themselves with something else. There are very many people that they just relapse. It's back onto the couch, it's back onto TV, it's back to my bottle of beer, it's back to my bag of chips, it's back. And it's because there's nothing productive that's happening that we need to fill that time with something.
When you're saying a bracha on a food item, shouldn't the nature of, shall we say, spiritualizing the food keep one from such behavior? Well, a lot of times it doesn't.
If anybody is conscious of making a bracha today, you should give them a trophy. I see people, how long does the bracha take? You have as much time as it takes for the cup to reach your lips. You think anyone's stopping? Why? Why do I speak in Hashem in third person? Always created in His word. But I refer to Him, Baruch Atah, blessed are you. In which world do I say, Raphael, would you like to go with us to the store when you guys are ready? I know that might not be proper English in the first place. I'm speaking California. Why did I switch over from singular to plural? Never ever think about that in a bracha. Why do I do that? Eloheinu. Why can't I just say He's the God of the world? Why does He have to be my God? It's my mom. So relax. Nobody thought it was my mom.
That's important. It's my personal.
There's a lot that everything comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what you're supposed to think about when you make a shakol. Who thinks like that?
Do it on that pilot.
So Zeb's right. If a person thinks like that, then the chances of him doing that is perhaps lower. But I don't know how many of us think like that.
Well, there's a Hasidic view I've heard from a few places that when you say the bracha, you're freeing the sparks from the food, and therefore it's a mitzvah to make more bracha and eat more food.
Like yesterday.
Yeah.
No comment.
Yeah.
Sparks. And then what you end up with is it's actually
Is
pathological.
this guy, he ate all the sparks. He's machmer on sparks. You're right, yeah, this is a... So the Jews had to be slaves in Egypt for 210 years. Why does Paul get punished? He's just fulfilling the divine plan. He didn't have to be the one to fulfill the divine plan. You don't always have to be the one to finish all the sparks at the table. Leave some for other people.
Pass me some sparks.
Yeah, you release the sparks, you eat the food.
But tikvot hashav, these pointless hopes, wanting things that you don't even need. I shop at Costco a lot, so I can tell you this. There's something that blows my mind about this store, Costco. And that is getting people to buy things they never knew they needed.
Oh, yeah.
all the stores, but I consistently in this store. I rarely go to stores. You know, when I go to Sprouts, they didn't invent a new fruit I didn't know about yesterday. I mean, sometimes that does happen actually, but
Jackfruit.
it's not always.
Oh,
It's not always so. It doesn't happen all the time. You walk to the front of a department store, but wow, I never knew. I was in a gas station in Israel. I never knew I needed a microwave that also made coffee that had a frying pan on top.
That's awesome.
You
There
still
was,
don't.
there was a microwave.
I could use that.
Then next to it had a coffee maker, a coffee pot, and on top of the whole top of it was a what do they call it? A griddle,
Really?
electric griddle.
That's
for you.
amazing.
It was 3 in 1.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I asked the guy, I'm like, wow, what is this? So, you know, if you sign up with our rewards program tonight, then you only have to pay 30 shekel. Only in Israel, you sign up for the reward program and you pay for the free gift they're supposed to give you. He says, you pay 30 shekel and you get this home. I said, how does it work? He says, you know the rule with appliances? He said, cameras should only take pictures. And video cameras should only film things. He said, if you get one appliance that does too many things, the chances of them doing any of them right is slim to
Dang,
none.
at least he was
Yes.
honest.
Yeah, Steve Jobs said that if you buy a refrigerator that also has a DVD player built in, you shouldn't get that refrigerator.
But I never knew I needed such a thing. Who knew? There's a world. It's motarot in Hebrew. Not from the word mutar, that which is permitted. Motar, from that which is extra, yoter, that which is left, that I don't need. I don't need that thing. Why all of a sudden do I need it now? Even a coffee maker. If I don't have a coffee maker, why do I need a coffee maker?
Oh,
Can you just make your own coffee?
There's something in Kehillat about that Hashem made
A coffee
human
maker?
beings upright, but they sought many
Yeah,
inventions.
many ways. Right, but those inventions that it's referring there are like spiritual loopholes and trickery.
Detours.
Here, there's not necessarily. I mean, it could be that the word extra is motarot also are connected to mutar. It's permitted to you, but who says you need it? And even if you want it, okay, so you got it, but now to become dependent on it,
Yeah,
that's a crutch.
I think that's where it becomes like an issue. Like, you know, there's nothing wrong with making a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or having something that makes that easier for you. But to like, oh, I need the best one and the nicest one, and like if
That's the one.
I don't have it, I'm gonna die. Like, but people do act like that with coffee.
I don't judge anybody for the next day. Until this day, I don't drink coffee.
Oh, good.
I don't drink coffee because when I went to yeshiva, in yeshiva you sleep very little. You're awake a lot, and you're not doing anything. So you're aside from using your head, but you're not moving.
Sounds
You're
like
not,
maybe.
and so people fall asleep because how long can you sit in a chair looking at the book?
Give 'em a
And so
break.
there's a lot of if there was such a term, out of the caffeine abuse that goes on in yeshiva.
Oh.
Like 17 cups of coffee in a day.
Oh.
You know, somebody who can. I saw a guy who used to eat Taster's Choice instant coffee on a spoon.
Oh.
I can't even imagine that tastes good. You know?
Yeah.
I just thought of it makes me. He had a container of Taster's Choice.
Yeah.
So it was an action.
I don't think it had to be a couple hours. Just take a walk for 10 minutes.
No, sorry, no, I'm not blaming the yeshiva. What I'm talking here is now something else. And that is, I thought, you know, listen, I'm also tired. Just try coffee. I had a chavruta who, if he didn't get his cup of coffee, he never wanted to be in anywhere within a mile radius of this guy. And I said, Chav, this is a drug.
Yeah.
It may be illegal, but it's a drug.
Because your body
Caffeine, yeah.
requires
Someone
it
gets
to get
dependent
up.
on this.
Yes.
And then he fasts, he's got headaches and this.
Yes.
So what do I need this for? I'd rather sleep at night. Let me sleep. Who needs this? And I thank Hashem every day because I know people who need coffee. And that need has now turned coffee from, because I don't know the health benefits or not benefits of coffee, but from a person who may enjoy a hot cup of coffee every once in a while to somebody who, it's like they're fixed. They can't start their day without this injection of coffee.
Right.
I don't drink any coffee.
And but that's what's but how do you not get to that place where you're dependent on something? Says Rabbi Yonatan, you avoid the need for such things in the first place. If you don't constantly train yourself to avoid needing things that you don't need, you're right. You could always enjoy coffee, but if you don't have your special espresso from your what's the little plastic cups the Keurig, the Keurig.
Yeah.
You put in the Keurig machine and the milk frother, and if you don't have that, then it's not even a good cup of coffee. And then he asked Raphael from Vietnam, what kind of coffee did they get?
Regular old coffee, just
Boiled in a
you take a canteen, put into a clean can, water, and get a little C4, light it, heat up your water.
C4, like explosive?
Like explosive C4. We all carried a block of C4. We all had one block of C4, one block of TNT to blow down trees, to cut an LZ, to cut a landing zone. All of us, every one of us had a
What are you
block of
complaining
TNT and a
about?
block of
I'm not
C4.
complaining about anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So if you break off a small little piece, it's like Play-Doh. Just one little piece, light it with a match, it'll burn fiercely for about 15, 20 seconds, then it'll heat up your water. You dump in your coffee, your tea, or your cocoa, or whatever you want to in there.
Now,
Stir it,
now
and you
everybody
touch
should
the
know why Raphael is not in the cooking committee of the shul.
His biggest-
Our insurance doesn't cover C4 chulet, you know.
coffee. Every guy in the company warmed up their water for tea or cocoa or coffee with C4.
Wow.
And then you come back stateside and people are spending $8.59 on a cup of Starbucks coffee. And
What?
okay, every once in a while you want to say, hey brother, enjoy yourself. But that becomes a habit you need. You just can't drink what's made in your house.
We live in a time where the lines are so obscured that, you know, what one person's asceticism might be just, well, hey, I don't drink coffee. But when Rabbi Yonatan speaks about asceticism, it's something very, very different.
Correct. Well, he's not even up to abstinence yet. This is like
It's further on. But here it's like, what do we call little today?
correct.
The fact that you don't speak on the phone. And
Peretz
less
told me
themselves, you know.
That he's not jealous of my generation. No, when I was in Israel. Not this time. When I was with Raphael.
Okay.
And
Oh, he told you that?
Yeah, he told me, he said, the things that you need, it's not even your fault. The things that you need, that you were raised with, that you were brought up with, he says, even as a person who thinks and does, he said, I'm so happy to not need those things. But I don't blame anybody in the next generation for needing it. It just, I thank Hashem that I'm free of that. And that's something, it's something moving, because we're going to say the same thing to our kids.
Yeah.
But we can't fix what the world is going to demand from them to need. What we can do is show them now, through our own actions, that you don't need everything that everyone else has. It's not because you're deprived, it's a choice, it's a lifestyle. And it's, you don't want to depress your children either. You go now to Target, someone wanted me to take him, they gave me a gift card to buy him a gift for his upshirt. First time it's a very dangerous thing to take your kids down the toy aisle. They need stores. So we just don't go to stores that have toys.
Toys R Us?
Sprouts doesn't sell
Avoid
toys,
it.
yeah?
Where's our house?
So
both stores, isn't it? But
we went
toys
down
for
these
kids.
toy aisles. You have your little plastic dog, $7.99, your little plastic this. And then there's an aisle of like brand name toys. There must be like the latest fads in elementary school. I don't know. Who made fads for elementary school kids? What are they supposed to know? Where do they know about this stuff from? They have this Paw Patrol.
What?
It's some kind of dog.
Oh.
But you look at the prices on the shelf. It's the same plastic dog from the other aisle, by the way. It just has a different logo on him. $49.99. The whole set. $129.99. Then you see parents walking away with shopping carts and this stuff that their kids are making them buy, because if not, they're going to be the left Nebuch kid in the class, the poor kid. That's really hard. Okay, so my generation, it was yo-yos or what do they call those things? Pogs?
Pogs.
Pogs, remember them? And my brother's generation was the Ninja Turtles, or my little brother's generation, Pokemon, or whatever those things were. What is a Pokemon card? So there people were trading those things on the internet for hundreds of dollars. It's a little piece of paper printed in China somewhere. You could print your own. What's the value of such a thing? Nothing. It has no value. It's not like a person will die from this world, a sad human being, if they didn't have the latest Beanie Baby or the Cabbage Patch doll or whatever fad that is. But we allow ourselves to be consumed with these things.
We were in Balboa Park on Sunday where all these people were walking around. There's this new Pokemon thing on the phone.
Pokemon Go.
Yeah, and you look for it. One guy walked off the cliffs and then Sunita
Sunset.
yeah, two guys actually.
Sunset Cliffs, they had a guy walk
Sunset
off the
Cliffs.
cliff.
Because he
What
doesn't pay
cliff?
attention. You see, you have to live
He was taking a
mindfully.
selfie.
Did he
Oh,
die?
really?
What was the sign?
Yeah.
It's a matter of living mindfully and actually being aware of what you're doing in that moment.
What's in front of
Beinu
you?
Avraham says this is a fundamental, though, in religious education. And I believe that none of this was ever taught to me in elementary school. When it should have been. It shouldn't have been a school rule not to have a fad. It should have been a religious value.
Right, a value.
Oh, Kehillat right here.
But we're afraid. We read one more sentence and we'll Shulchan Aruch because we're late. וכבר אמר שלמה כי אוהב כסף לא ישבע מהוסיף עליו. King Shlomo says that a person who loves
Yeah.
money will never be satisfied with what he has, even if he adds more to it. V'zeu ma'ama'on, that's what he says, Kehillat ohev kesef, lo yisba kesef. One who loves money will not be satisfied with his money. I have a family member. I can't tell you who he is. Not closely related to me at all. Through marriage, a few times removed. I went to visit him a few summers ago. In this country. He's so wealthy that he doesn't know what to do with his money anymore. So last I saw him, and that's the last I saw him, was buying all kinds of illegal animals in the black market. And what do you need a little tiger in your office for? You can't even tell anybody about your tiger that you have in your office because you'll get put in prison for it. I have nothing to do with my money. He doesn't know what to do with it.
Oh, I'll talk to him.
Don't worry, I told you, not that closely related. It got nothing to do with himself. He buys a building and just lets it. It's a person who, but so why does he go to work every day? He cannot get enough money. It's not. You just can't. He's just sick for money.
Likes the
He needs
numbers.
That's what
What do you mean he needs help? That's considered a successful person in our society. Yeah.
Said we have a disease of the soul for which gold is the only cure. That's what Cortez said.
But it's not even true because all the gold in the world won't cure it.
Right.
How much gold could you give a gold digger in a gold rush and say, "Here, this is enough. Go home." How much could you give him?
Enough.
Nothing. Nothing.
It's never upset.
We get consumed.
Yeah.
And it's funny to me that in Judaism, in the synagogue, we're always talking about kosher and about Shabbat and about tefillin. But if a rabbi dare gonna get up and give a speech about becoming consumed with the latest trends or with consumerism or fashion, seriously, take it from the guy who wears the latest cutting edge of 18th century fashion. You go to some outlet store, they're selling things from the last season for $10, when in the store they sold it for $90. So you know how much it's worth? You know how much it's worth? It's not even worth $10 because someone's making a profit off of that. So why would you buy it for $90? Not just because you're Jewish, Kevin, not being cheap over here. Why are you buying into some guy in France decided there should be a fad and you jump? Why?
The person who made it got paid 25 cents.
No, that's even better. Yes, that's true.